What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny 2. Now in today's video we're having a discussion specifically around community events and also seasonal activities. So if you're feeling a little bit underwhelmed with the rewards of the Dawning community event, then be sure to stick around and enjoy the video and become part of the discussion down in the comment section below. Now if you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you are brand new here, I want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now with the recent conclusion of the Dawning community event, there's a lot of feeling amongst the community at the moment. There's a little bit of disappointment in the rewards that were received as a result. And I thought it was a great time to have that discussion around community events in general, but also some of the seasonal activities that we've had so far since the launch of Beyond Light and the ones we're likely to get throughout the rest of Year 4. Now before we jump into the meat of this video, I want to first invite you all to the Jarv Community Hub. This is a fast growing community Discord with nearly 3,600 incredible Guardians. So whether you want to talk about Destiny, get a fire team together, or share your god roll weapons, then be sure to jump in. It's available to absolutely everyone, and you can find the link to our community down in the video description below. Now yesterday, as a result of the community event being completed, I made this tweet over on Twitter. It's got a lot of traction. We're approaching nearly 3,000 likes, but there's also some great comments and a discussion taking place, which has formed the basis of this video. Now we want this video to be a constructive feedback piece, so if you have any opinions, then be sure to sound off down in the comment section below, but try and keep them constructive where possible. Any toxic or non-constructive comments may be removed, so try and keep it positive where you can and be constructive so Bungie can best utilize any of the feedback in this video and the comments in the best way possible. Now first of all, we're going to approach this by looking at community events. Obviously the Dawning isn't the only community event that we've had in Destiny. We've had about 3 or 4 overall, whether these be community events or community challenges, which all result in rewards normally at the end. Now naturally Galahorn was never going to be the reward for the Dawning community challenge, but it does create that interesting discussion piece on whether the time investment that's been made through the vast majority of the community is worth the reward at the end. Scarrow and I made a fantastic video on it yesterday, highlighting the fact that you can get better rewards from a Grandmaster Nightfall than you can from the entire community event. And this is a very valid point because the time investment for that is around 30 minutes with a good team. And this has taken us 3 weeks to get to the end of this community challenge to get lesser rewards at the end. Now naturally Dawning Spirit is actually a great idea. It brings the community together as one, as a way of generating presents for us all throughout the festive season. Now in terms of the most effective way to generate that, we could create an entirely separate video covering the AFK farms and the cheese methods and all those things in order to effectively get as much Dawning Spirit as possible. But those issues aside, it's the execution and valuing players' time investment versus the rewards they get throughout the event and the eventual completion of the event at the end. Now as you can see, we have some Haunted Forest gameplay playing out right now. This is technically the first free event within Year 4, although the delay of Beyond Light meant it actually fell at the end of Year 3, but it gave us a great insight in terms of some of the seasonal free events that we're likely to see throughout the rest of Year 4, and this was before the Dawning, which is currently coming to an end. Now in terms of the activity itself, the Haunted Forest was identical to the previous year, the same as the Dawning this year. However, there was a new element added that required us to go into other activities outside the Haunted Forest and disconnect the players from the main event itself. And much like the Dawning event, where Bungie have had to adjust the rate in which we earn Dawning Spirit, they had to go in and adjust the rate of the consumable to allow us to go back into the Haunted Forest to earn the loot from the event. Now going back a little bit further towards the end of Year 3, we had the Seraph Tower event. This again was a community challenge, and the main difference for this one compared to any ones that we previously mentioned is there was a huge narrative implication if we weren't successful on this. We had to be successful and we were always going to be, but there was a strong narrative and story implication for doing it. And the same can be said for the Imperium Foundation. There was a strong narrative reason for doing it, and as a result we got Trials of Osiris back in the game, and everyone in the community that took part had a part to play, whether that be investing or spending at the Imperium Foundation. So as we can see, there have been some successes when it comes to community events, normally those associated with story and narrative direction, which result in the implementation of some massive story beats in the seasons ahead, whether that be Trials of Osiris or even the arrival of the pyramid ships ahead of year 4. But it's where community challenges and free seasonal events combine that we seem to stumble, and either the time investment doesn't feel valued or the reward at the end doesn't feel like it's worth the effort. Now, there was an interview many moons ago where Luke Smith was talking specifically around seasonal events, and he makes reference to actually applying the theme of the event within the playlist activities. Now, as things currently stand, this hasn't been something that's been achieved inside Destiny. When you think about the Dawning specifically, the only festive themed area inside Destiny 2 at the moment is the tower itself. Outside that, the rest of the game is as it was, with additional materials dropping from anywhere in the solar system. And the same was said for the Festival of the Lost in terms of Halloween themed. It was all at the tower and inside the haunted forest, which had been reprised from last year, but outside that though, the rest of the game was relatively untouched. Now naturally there's a huge amount of dev that will need to go into applying a theme across the entire game, whether that be certain playlists, whether that be Strikes, Crucible or even Gambit, but it would help bridge the disconnect between some of the free seasonal activities which are heavily themed around seasonal events versus the activities that are implemented or added to the game. Now, when it comes to the Dawning specifically in terms of what a suitable reward at the end could have been, something like Heir Apparent with the Catalyst potentially and some additional end game upgrade materials that we already received. Whilst a large part of the player base that may already have Heir Apparent from a previous season, it will at least grant that for anyone that is new to the game, and in addition to the Heir Apparent itself, it could also grant the Catalyst. So even if you had the weapon itself, you could still unlock and complete the Catalyst with some cool additional perks. And the final piece we're going to talk about is the Corridor of Time. This was a community challenge, an absolutely awesome one back in the Season of Dawn. Now, whilst this one was specifically a puzzle, it did result us in altering a timeline, which actually brought forward a reward. Now, the reward at the time felt underwhelming. It granted us Bastion, but the expectation at the time was that Bastion was a few weeks away, and this could potentially be for an entirely new weapon. Thoughts at the time were things like Raise Lighter or even the sword that was on the tomb at the end of the Corridors of Time, but there was nothing official to deny the fact that a new weapon was in our midst, other than the official roadmap which confirmed a new exotic was weeks away. So in summary, when it comes to community events, it's having some visual signposting, whether that be in-game or through the official channels, which give us some indication of not just what the progress is, but also the eventual end game reward for completing the activity itself is. Whether it be a challenge which results in an exotic, we're going to bring that timeline forward, have a visual aid in-game showing us that we're actually altering the timeline itself. This will help the community understand the result of our actions and signpost us towards potentially moving an exotic quest ahead of time. And then for the free seasonal events, things like the Dawning and the Festival of the Lost, which are closely linked to real life events, whilst it's not possible to signpost the gift inside the presence, then at least value the time investment for the players that are able to dedicate hundreds of hours of their time in order to farm as much Dawning spirit to help the community effort. Even if it's granting an additional personal package every couple of 100% additional Dawning spirit that they earn above the normal threshold, will at least value their individual effort against the community effort. But there we have it, guys. That's just some of my thoughts and feelings around community events, challenges and seasonal events. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your opinions on some of the free seasonal events that we get and the community challenges that are often associated with them? Be sure to keep it constructive and sound off down in the comment section below. Now, if you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you are brand new here, I want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump back into the game as always, guys, but I will catch you all again very soon.